make this 10-minute apron starting with a tea towel. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. I started with this tea towel apron pattern that Missouri Star is giving you a free download of. The free download for the pattern and the fabrics that I'm using are in the caption. Here's a quick project that will whip up in no time. Plus, it is infinitely customizable. Add a pocket here or there, a ruffle or two, and voila, you've got the perfect housewarming, birthday, or just for fun gift. Watch out, you may have to make one for yourself. I started with a tea towel and it said fold the towel in half lengthwise, press and open flat. All right, we're not pressing it, it's got a crease where it was folded. Along the top, measure over 4 inches from the center. Let me make sure that is in fact the center. Okay, it is. All right, 4 inches from the center, both sides. On the same side of the fold, measure 10 inches down from the top and mark that. 10 inches, 10 inches. Now it says to fold this over at the marks and cut off. Actually, it says iron and cut, but we're just gonna cut ours. And then we're gonna do the same thing to this side. And this is what we have. Our tea towel started at, I measured it before we started, 20 inches wide by 29 inches long. So if you want to do it with a piece of fabric, you could do that. Oops. It says, fold over, press, remove the corner of the tea towel by cutting 1 inch away from the fold. I should have left an inch, but I didn't. That's okay. When you do it, leave an inch. Now it says turn the raw edge under 1/4 of an inch, press, and then turn it under again to leave a 3/4 of an inch casing. So let's press this on both sides. Now, if you do what the pattern said and not what I said, this is how wide your apron will end up. If you do what I said, yours is gonna be about 2 inches smaller. This tea towel is 20 inches by 29 inches, and you're gonna find out in a minute that I had to redo this because this looks ridiculous. And the new tea towel I picked up is 28 inches by 28 inches. So be sure you're looking at the size of the tea towel before you start this project. We folded it over 1/4 of an inch and ironed it, and then we folded it over, mine is more like a whole inch, and ironed it. And I'm gonna go sew right down here on both sides, just a straight stitch. I'm not changing my thread, but if you want to change yours to whatever color your tea towel is, then it would blend in. Straight stitch, back stitching when you start and when you stop. If you wanted to make this and didn't want to use a tea towel, just use the same measurements and make it with fabric. But don't forget to email me a photo to hometownquiltcompany@gmail.com. I want to see all the things that you're making. Okay, it says make apron ties. Take 2 to 3 2.5 inch strips for the apron ties. Piece together with a diagonal seam, press open. Finish both short ends by folding the raw edges over. Press the continuous strip in half lengthwise, open up, and press each side into the center fold. I have a piece of scrap fabric because I'm not making my ties, but I'm going to show you how to make yours if you want to. Now, I just have a scrap, and it's not even very long. If I were sewing it together end to end, the directions say diagonal, I wouldn't do it. I just put it just like that, stitch it till you have one really long piece. Then, you're going to take the 2 ends, one end, and fold it over just like this, and the other end, however long your piece is, fold it over just like this. Then you're going to fold your apron tie in half like this. You're going to open it up and you're going to fold it over like this. You see that? You're going to fold it in on the other side like that. You're going to iron it all the way down. Now, after you've done this, you're just going to fold it together and sew it, and you're going to have one really long strap. So what you did is you took the raw end, you folded it over. That got rid of the raw edge right here. Then you folded it in half, and you ironed it. Then you opened it up, and you folded it in and in again, and you ironed that. So now what you're going to do is fold that together so you don't have any raw edges, and you're just going to sew this all the way down. Straight stitch, so close to the edge like you would a top stitch. Or, I have a piece of 1 inch cotton webbing. It doesn't matter if you use the webbing or if you make your straps. You're gonna come in the bottom. So this goes under your arms right here. You see how mine's kind of pointy because I cut the extra 2 inches off, one on each side? Oops. Yours won't be as pointy. You're gonna feed it from the bottom up because the pointy part on mine, that yours is not gonna be pointy, is the neck. And then you're gonna feed it back down through the other side. And then this is where your neck goes in, so obviously it needs to be bigger. Put it around my neck and I'll tie it and show y'all. This is about 2 yards of cotton webbing. I would do at least 3 yards, maybe even more than that. This looks kind of ridiculous, y'all. Okay, that looked ridiculous. We gotta start over. As much as I don't want to, we're going to. Sometimes we take liberties with patterns, but evidently not this one. Don't do what I just did, or you'll be doing what I'm doing right now, starting over. Okay, now we're gonna try this again. This is 2 yards of cotton webbing. And our instructions say 2 to 3 2.5 inch strips. 2 would be 88 inches. 3 would be more than that, 40 more than that, 120 inches. I'm gonna try not to get mine twisted when I put it in here. Okay, this looks not nearly as ridiculous. Just like that. Okay, that's 2 yards. That is clearly not enough. You definitely need more than that. Large pocket. 2 8 by 16 inch rectangles from a coordinating or contrasting fabric. Okay, we're gonna do a mini pocket because it's so cute. This mini pocket is what we're doing. The large pocket would go right across here, which I think is a great idea, by the way. But we're gonna do this mini pocket. We're going to take 2 5 inch by 5 inch squares. We're gonna place them pretty side to pretty side. We're gonna sew all the way around, except we're gonna leave a hole to turn it right side out. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. This apron makes me think about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and y'all, I can't wait. Now we're gonna turn it right side out. Make sure you push out your corners. Chopstick, fingers, handy dandy tool. Do not use your scissors because you will poke a hole in your project and then you'll be crying because you have a hole. I'll be crying because you didn't listen to me, and then everybody's crying. So let's just don't do that. Now we're gonna iron this and then we're gonna sew it on our apron. This is my ironing situation. Heat resistant pad, wool mat. The heat resistant pad is there because I'm afraid the heat is gonna go through my wool mat on my table, and it would. And this is my snazzy Oliso iron that Missouri Star Quilt Company sent us, and y'all, it's pretty incredible. Here is the hole that I left, right here, okay? So I'm gonna place my apron, my pocket like this. I'm gonna take this and fold it down right here, and I'm gonna add a few stitches. Now they put a button, and you can put a button if you want to. I just don't have a button that I love to go with this. After you've stitched the little corner down, you're gonna place it on the front of your apron. Y'all, it looks almost like a Superman logo. Or maybe that's Too Many Years with the Little Boy, right? I'm pretty sure I've watched every superhero movie ever made. And I might have liked them more than him. I still love a superhero movie. We've centered our pocket on the front of our apron. Now I'm gonna stitch right here to this point and then right back to this point. So I'm just stitching this V. You're gonna stitch it close to the edge, like a top stitch, but only sew as close as you're comfortable. And when you sew this, that's gonna naturally close up the hole that you left to turn it right side out. I know y'all are excited about the upcoming holidays too, and I'm excited about doing a handmade Christmas. Make sure you cut off your threads because nobody, not a single soul, wants threads hanging from that gift you just gave them or your safety pin. Take your safety pin out too. Now let's see what we have. Oh, maybe pins. Dun, dun, dun. And here's your precious tea towel apron. Now I would make my ties longer in the back. This was 2 yards, clearly not enough. The rest of it, I love everything about. Very cute. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.